Hi, it's Carolyn and Michelle, aka LA Triathlete and Fuel My Run, and we're going off course.
Hello.
Hello. It's the marathoner.
Is it delayed? Wait, talk again.
Talking. 1, 2,
Okay,
3.
no, it's good. We're good. I don't know if
We'll
it's
just
like
have really delayed reactions. To
yeah,
everything.
right. Everyone listening is gonna be like, "Are they okay?" I don't know. That was weird at first. I think it could be my Wi-Fi. I told you, I've been having problems all day with like Instagram. Again, don't know if it's the app or the Wi-Fi. Could be anything.
Could be a combo.
Could be a combo.
Yeah. Carolyn had to wait for me because I was hangry and I had to scarf down a quiche before recording this.
Like, I don't think that I would be able to record hungry. I think I would just be like, let's wrap this up. So I don't blame you. I had to,
yeah.
Was it good?
You just start going silent.
Yeah.
It was okay. I mean, like, when you want a sandwich and all they have are quiches,
yeah,
it's just kind of a bummer.
That's a big, yeah.
Do you order quiches? Like, what kind of mood do you have to be for a quiche?
I don't know. I don't know if I've ever ordered a quiche.
I feel like it's super French. So this is the Carolyn Marathon episode, and I'm so excited to go through the beginning to the end because we have not talked about anything really.
I haven't told Michelle anything. I was really holding out on her, and I feel it's like kind of funny because it's Tuesday right now as we record.
It's Tuesday.
So this is like we're recording a week ahead of the episode coming out, but it's also funny because our episode came out today.
Yeah.
And it's like us talking about the marathon, which is funny because like the marathon's already happened. So like all the listeners it's like weird. It's like some sort of Inception type of situation, but they all like, you know, I've been posting fucking nonstop about it on Instagram. So
we're gonna get into the nitty gritty detail. And there's some questions too in the last episode that I'm gonna follow up on. But first a few, what do you call them? Line items.
Yeah. Line items. Wait, what do they always say? Corporate jargon, they always say housekeeping. Time for a little bit of housekeeping.
Oh, yes. That's what I meant to say. Okay.
Yeah.
We have some housekeeping at the beginning of the episode.
Guys.
Which, like, I guess things that we reference in the lot. By the way, I got a ring light.
Oh, my God. Love it.
Do I look clearer right now?
You do. You look beautiful.
Do I look like a movie star?
You do.
Good. Because I bought a cheap ring light from Amazon. So that's
what
housekeeping number 1. Just kidding. Okay, number 2. Am I on the right notes? Oh, so yesterday, it's just like, what? I accidentally snorted liquid IV.
Oh, how was it?
This isn't really important, but I just had to tell you.
Yeah.
So
did it hurt?
Do you ever like, yeah, it stung. Yeah. And I also feel like I got a buzz. So do you ever like open it with your mouth?
I probably have. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to get open with your hands.
Exactly. So I'm just
and
like,
kind of,
I ripped it.
Like a puff of it went up. Anyway. Yeah.
Exactly. A puff went up and it was at the same time that I needed to breathe in with my nose because, you know,
right.
I just like needed oxygen. And so I opened it and it was like, as one does to survive. And I ingested like probably a fourth of the packet. Maybe not that much.
Dang. But it felt good.
I was like,
should I?
I feel like it's a way to take it.
Everyone's going to start snorting liquid IV.
Yeah. So don't do that. But that's like a PSA of opening it with your mouth. Be careful. Oh yeah. And then also to follow up on the Maurten gel.
Oh my gosh. Yes. How did you like it? Tell me everything.
Dude, you were spot on with the Jello. It tastes like Jello.
It's like hint of marshmallow Jello, right?
No, that is the only way to explain what it tastes like. And the hint of marshmallow I liked, but the consistency, that is going to take some getting used to.
Yeah, it's hard to explain, right? It's like not runny, but it's not thick.
It's like you must have to chew it. Strips of Jello. Yeah, I was like,
like, but not.
But it's so expensive. It's kind of hard to continue to buy to get used to.
Yeah, that's also a good point because it takes a few, right? But it's like, what's the gel budget for the month? You got to look at that.
Yeah, I know, right?
thousands of dollars. No offense to Maurten.
Okay, let's look at it like this. If you were to consume, let's say one long run, let's say you take in 6, and let's say each is $5. That's $30 of gel. That is like a
holy
steak
shit.
dinner.
That is, I've never. Wow, when you put it into perspective, that's actually
it's like
really
a 4-ounce
depressing.
filet mignon.
Wow.
Maybe
I'd rather
not.
have the filet. I'll just bring
like
a filet.
Red Lobster.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally. So anyway, I
Damn.
I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. Um
Okay. Okay.
and then also this is random, but did you know that when you say hindsight is 2020, do you know where that comes from?
Have no. I don't think so.
I only bring this up because every time I say Nappa's mad at the ring light. Every time I say a saying to Dov, I have to be like, "Oh, do you know what that means?" And usually he's
Yeah.
like, "No." Because, sayings in English are weird.
Right,
But
they
I said
are.
it totally incorrect. I was like, hindsight's 50-50. Do you know what that means? He goes, no, I have no idea. And I'm like, I have no idea. And then I Googled it and it's obviously 2020.
Yeah.
2020
20
vision.
Right.
Okay, so you knew that.
Well, I know that, but I don't know, what does hindsight mean? Like looking back on
Hindsight,
something?
like,
Oh,
exactly.
like when you look back
Hindsight's
on
like
it, it's clear because you're looking back on it. Oh my
exactly.
God.
Which
I say these
everyone is
things.
like, we know.
Yeah,
But
everyone's
I
like, you guys are so
didn't even.
toxic.
I'm
Yeah,
just
I've
like,
said it
where did the
before.
20s come from? From the Middle Ages? It's like, no, your vision. I'm like, oh, that makes 100% sense.
I think I knew the 2020 part, but I don't think I just never thought about how they were connected. So this is very insightful. Thank you.
Hindsight, headwind, all
This
that
is-
kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yes.
And then honestly, the last one I just had to put down because it was bothering me. Do you think that Pavlov is upset that he's only known for his dogs?
I mean, here's the thing. If he didn't do that, would we even know who he was? Now he's a
True, but
household
what
name.
if you were only known for one reel that you made? How about if you're only known for your singing reels that you post
Oof.
once a month?
good
I
point.
love them. But you know
a
what
good
I mean?
point.
Just like one small thing of what you do.
That is true. Yeah, he could have so many other accomplishments. We wouldn't even know.
Anyway, that was bothering me.
That's deep. I'm going to think about that.
Yeah, let's think about it some more. Chew on it for a bit.
I'll chew.
Like the Maurten.
Yeah.
So, oh God, okay. I have a lot of questions, but I think we should start with the day before the race.
Okay, let's do it.
What were the vibes? How were you feeling? How was the expo?
Okay, vibes were good-ish. The expo, okay, so I woke up, I slept in. I had an hour easy bike ride on the
Good.
trainer, and I was like, oh, I could do it in the morning, or I could just sleep in. So I was like, let's just see when I wake up. And I woke up around 8, and then I have a friend who is
Hell yeah.
an LA Marathon ambassador, and so I was in an open corral because I didn't have a marathon time from the last 3 years to submit, because that's how you had to get into like a seated corral, and I didn't care that much, but I was like, it would be nice to not be in the open corral. And then my friend Phil was like, he's like, I'll hook it up, and he texted our other friend who was an ambassador, and then he's like, yeah, I think I can get you into a corral. And I was like, let's go. And so he's
Bam.
like, I'm running the 5K, so I'll be at the expo like earlier. So I was like, oh, I got to get there like on the early side. So Jordan and I go, and it's at Dodger Stadium, which, can house 50,000-60,000 people. Big parking
You would
lots
imagine.
everywhere. We got there. It said normal traffic, whatever. There's all these roads into the stadium, and like they had closed off like every fucking entrance to the parking lot except for one for some reason.
Oh God.
And
that area is so
it's
trafficky.
so
Like it
bad.
sucks driving down there when there's an event.
It was chaotic, and I felt bad because like I made Jordan come to the expo, and he totally didn't have to come. But I was like, I need content. I was like, I want some pictures and
yeah.
stuff, and like he didn't. I don't know. He was fine with it. He's like, yeah, I'll go. But then we were like sitting in traffic, and I felt bad because I could tell he was like getting annoyed. And I was just like, I was annoyed. But we like literally weren't moving. And so he's like, well, why don't you just get out and like walk up, and then I'll either meet you, park and meet you, or like you can just come back to the car or whatever. So like I walk up to the expo or to the stadium, and I was just like following other people. I didn't know where I was. I didn't know where I was going. I ended up like literally circumnavigating the entire goddamn stadium.
Circumnavigating.
Like a fucking Magellan. And when he circumnavigated the
Great
globe.
reference.
Was that Magellan?
Wait, it's literally at Dodger Stadium.
It's like
the baseball
in the parking
stadium.
lot. It's like out front, but like
It's a big ass
there's a lot
parking
of
lot. How do you know
parking
which
lots,
one it is?
And so I'm walking around, and
other
then
than looking at the
Jordan
map.
calls me, and he's like, where are you? And I was like, what? And I'm like walking in. So Jordan managed to sit in that traffic, park the car, walk in, and still beat me to the expo. I was like, holy
Literally
shit.
do like 3 rounds
Yeah,
at
I
the
was
expo.
like-
Was it huge?
I mean,
like the
the
expo
stadium's huge, but the expo's like a normal size expo. It was just like, I don't even know where I was going. So we got in, and then Jordan got in line for the open corral for me because the lines were super fucking long. I must have just gone at like the most popular time. And then I found my
Probably.
friend at the solutions tent, the guy who's the ambassador. And I was like, hey, like, so do you think you could help me? And he's like, I was like, it's like not a big deal. And he's like, well, I don't know now. He's like, I already had to ask them, like the people at the solutions tent. He's like, I already asked them for a favor. And he's like, I just feel like I'm being so annoying. And he's like, well, if you just go up there, he's like, just go out there, ask for Carrie. And then he's like, just tell them that you're a pro triathlete. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to do that.
You're
But
like,
okay.
by the way, I'm a pro.
Yeah, I was like, I
And they're
cannot.
like, shut up.
Literally, I know. I was like, that's so embarrassing. I'm not doing that. But I like pulled up my pro card just in case, and I don't know who Carrie is. I didn't ask for Carrie because there was like 5 people working in the solutions tent, and they were all busy with other people. And I'm like, I'm not gonna like make them stop. But here's the tea, though. And I didn't tell you this, but I was listening to our episode today, and remember I was talking about how I was so scared that I like didn't actually register. And I had to like go into my bank account. Okay.
Which we always
guy,
do. We
right.
always do.
So there was this guy who was in front of me in line at the solutions. Like I was still waiting and he was talking to one of the workers and he was so flustered. And I thought he was trying to change corrals like me. And I was like, calm down, you know, it's okay. Because I was like, what could he possibly be so upset about? We're going to survive
in the open corral.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
he didn't sign up.
You know, I heard the girl go, she goes, yeah, maybe you just like didn't complete the registration page. Can you imagine?
I'd be
he looked like he was gonna cry.
In tears.
Like he was there with
Please
his
tell
little
me he
son.
got in.
I don't know. Because then I like talked to the other girl and she's like, I was like, is there any way? And she's like, no. And I was like, okay. To like changing corrals. And I was like, it's totally fine. But she's like, I mean, it was worth asking. And I was like, yeah, it's fine. So
especially the amount of time it takes to get into the expo park and everything that you just said. Can you imagine going through that and then realizing you didn't sign up and then getting turned away?
So he must have literally, like, that's what I'm thinking. He probably waited in line to get his bib, realized he didn't have a bib or whatever. Like, oh, let's see your QR code. He probably didn't have one, but he also trained for it. Like all those months of training. I'm like, I would just run it without a bib. I know you're not supposed to do that, but in like this instance, I think I would. Because that is.
In this climate?
He was literally, I don't know. So then I finished talking to my gal and then I walked away. And then he was walking away at the same time as me, but he still looked sad. So I don't think that he was able to get in. And I felt so bad. Can't even imagine. Yeah.
No, that sucks. Because that's something you don't fake. You can't just be like, oh,
no,
I'm going to do the marathon. It's like you
like,
trained for it.
Unless LA, he's an actor. He just like, he's preparing for a role. He actually knew he didn't register. I'm just kidding. But I felt so bad. And then the expo itself was fucking insane. It was like probably like 6 rows of vendors. And I just was so overwhelmed because there were so many people or like vendors and like people in the like crowd walking around. And I just feel like the ones that have free stuff, the lines are like always Cliff. So long. But it's always just
was
stuff
Cliff there?
I don't know. I didn't even walk around.
That's
I just
my
like
biggest
left.
Thing. What?
Well, the banana line for Chiquita was like super long, and I was like, they had banana fanny packs, and I was like, that's pretty cool. And Jordan's like, what are you gonna do with that? That's kind of sick. I know, and I was like, you're right. I'm probably not gonna do anything with it. So then we left.
You'd make a reel with it. Oh no!
I know. I felt bad because if Jordan weren't with me, I probably would have like hung out. I don't know. It was just really like a lot of people, and it was like I was getting kind of hot.
A little overwhelming.
And then there was one vendor with free popsicles with no line. They were just trying to like push these popsicles out. They were just like putting them on the table, like not even talking about them. Like, just take them and go. And I was like, okay. And then the expo, that was it. And then I left. And then
wait. Too many, too fast. You know the okay. First of all, expos in general are getting so small and so lame. So it's good to know that LA is still cool. No,
it was good. It was. I think if I had walked around, I mean, it was like your standard like Therabody was there, I think, or Normatec, the boots. So people were in line to like use the boots, but I was like, I have boots at home. You know what I mean?
Your peeps.
And then guys, I'm just kidding.
It's like you can spin the wheel and maybe get 10% off.
Use them for free.
Mountains to beach.
There's just like other races had tables set up where you could sign. You know, just like regular. You know, I don't know. There might have been free stuff.
Standard.
It might have been good, but I just ran through and got the hell out of there. So who knows?
All right. So she's out of the expo. Oh wait, did you get? What's the shirt like? Is it lame? Is it
it's
cool?
fine. I actually forget what it looks like. Like blue.
What color is it?
It's blue. Oh. Light blue. Oh. I should have looked at it more. It's not lame though. It's pretty good.
T-shirt or Sweatwick?
Sweatwick.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they didn't cheap out or anything.
Yeah, no, they didn't cheap out. Who's texting me?
Cool.
How dare you? Okay, it's my brother.
How dare?
I know. I'm like, can you shut the fuck up? I'm just kidding. He just sends like Instagram reels all day. And then I came home and had
We had dinner.
I had lunch. I had rice and eggs. A little stir fry situation.
Okay.
Fake stir fry.
Carbs and protein. Bada bing, bada bang.
And then I got on the trainer eventually and did an hour, just like easy spin. And then
that sounds
had
hard
dinner.
to get yourself to do.
It was. I texted my coach and I was like, "Do I have to do this?" And he's like, "Just it's good to get some movement today because I don't do like a shakeout run." So I was like, "You're right. You're right." So I did it, and then had buttered noodles for dinner with Parmesan cheese.
Saw it on Instagram.
It was fine.
Okay.
I love those.
Is that what you
love a
typically
buttered
do?
nude. Huh?
Is that what you typically do pre-race?
Yeah, I don't like any like veggies or anything like tomato sauce. I feel like sometimes gives me acid reflux. I just don't like anything that'll be like weird potentially in my stomach.
Okay, that's fair. If the tomato gives you the flux.
Yeah, sometimes it does. So I put I gave him tomato sauce because I was like, I don't want him to be like, why the fuck am I just eating buttered noodles? He wouldn't
Here's
say
your
that. He would
buttered
just eat them,
noodles.
but I was like, this
Girl
is more of a
dinner.
dinner. Yeah. And then went to bed at like 9, but I slept so bad. Jordan stayed out here and like he ended up sleeping on the couch, which was really nice of him because he didn't want to go to bed at 9, but he always, when he comes into the bedroom to go to bed, so he like wakes me up just because I'm a light sleeper. And so he just slept out here. And then we switched at like 3 a.m. when I woke up. But I woke up like every hour just because
3 a.m.?
Yeah. 3 a.m.
What time did the race start?
7. So that's the other thing, because I wake up so early and I eat so early and I'm like, I'm eating this bagel, like the race doesn't start till 7. I'm not going to be like eating for like 4 hours. So I had to like kind of plan my eating accordingly because I'll usually eat a bagel before my long run, but it's only like an hour, if that, before I start my run. So, but yeah, I like slept pretty bad, which was fine. And then I woke up at 3 because I had an Uber scheduled for 4:45 to take me to.
That's still early.
4:30, 4:30.
Was Jordan
4:30
eating his midnight banana when you got up?
He had a whole bundle. But yeah, he just like went into the bedroom and closed the door. And then I had my bagel and I wanted to have enough time to like make a reel and just like
true.
poop.
Oh my God, you're so good. And poop.
Okay,
That's the
I
real
woke up-
reason you woke up early. Let's be honest.
Let's be honest, guys. But I pooped immediately. Like I woke up and had to poop. I was like, this is crazy. Isn't that crazy?
That's a dream.
It was.
That
I think it
is-
was nerves. And I was like, okay. And then after breakfast, I pooped again. 2 times.
Shut up.
Isn't that at like
That
3
never
a.m.?
happens.
I know.
Did you drink coffee or any
Of
caffeine?
course. Yeah. I always do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good,
It was
good,
just amazing.
Get
And
it flowing.
yeah, got it flowing. And then I got my Uber, and then the Uber driver, I had like scheduled it just because I was like, I don't worry about it. And the Uber driver was like,
Nice.
I was like, thank God I scheduled it because he's like, there's like 30 people in the queue at 4:30 a.m. And he's like, why are so many people Ubering? And I was like, today's the marathon. He's like, oh.
He's like, fuck.
Yeah, he's like, I'm done after you. And I was like, good, probably a good choice. But anyway, then I got to Union Station and I got on, like literally walked through, got on a shuttle. Like there was no line. And then the shuttle took me. And like the shuttles do have a different route to the stadium.
Oh, they do. So
Yeah,
they're
we
not
just
with the
drove right
regular
up.
traffic.
Like we parked.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
They parked the
Maybe
shuttle.
they changed it.
Maybe they
changed it
did.
from last year.
Because we were all sitting
I don't
there.
know.
Like they parked and everyone in the shuttles we're all sitting there. And then we like didn't realize we were already there. You know what I mean? Everyone's like, oh, we're stopped in traffic or something. And then he like opened the door. And then people like hesitantly were like, oh, and then started getting out. And we were like at the stadium. So I got there at like 5 a.m.
Oh my God. Did you think it was going to take a lot longer?
I did. I was like, oh, there's probably gonna be a line for the shuttle and like it's gonna be traffic and blah blah blah. No, and I got
Good for you.
I was so early. It was so cold out, but I brought a
fuck.
sweatshirt and I had like snacks because I was like, I had a banana and then a honey stinger waffle because I was like, I need to eat in this giant gap of time between. And then I had to pee, of course. So I timed that really well. I peed. I like stood around. Some people came up and they were like, I follow you on Instagram. And I was like, oh my God, stop. And one
Oh
of
my
them,
God. Yay.
Micah, this queen, she listens
Shout
to
out.
the podcast.
That made me want to throw up. I was so excited
Isn't
when you told me that.
fun? She's like, I love the podcast. And I was like, shut up. Like, we're best friends now. And then, yeah, I got in line for the porta potty at like 5:55. And my fear is like, what if the lines go fast and I pee and then I don't want to pee too early and then have to pee again before the race
I'm just going to
starts.
stop you there. You are very type A. I take back everything I have ever said
Really?
about you being
Oh,
type
I think I'm so
B.
type B.
Every time I talk to you more, I'm just like, this bitch is super type A.
Maybe I am. Maybe like half my brain. I'm a good mix, maybe.
Half your left side is type A, your right side is type B.
I think I'm type B with like hella anxiety because I'm just like, well, if I pee now, I'm gonna have to pee again. But like the line took so fucking long at the porta potties that I didn't pee till like 6:40, which was perfect because that was like right before the race started. But it gave me time
40-minute line.
Yeah, it took forever, and every line was just as long. But the good news,
But you like that, yeah. Sometimes you go in the long line on purpose.
exactly. I timed it so well, and the porta potty was honestly pristine, which like it like I mean it like didn't smell. I'm sure people had pooped in it, but it was clean. Because when I went to the Long
went
Beach
in
half,
the pee only line.
I must have because I got in there and I was like, this ain't bad. When I did Long
You're like,
Beach
I can hang
half,
out.
there was shit. I like had opened like 3 porta potties because like I was so grossed out and I was like trying different ones. All of them had shit on the toilet seat, and I was like,
on a
that's
scale of 1 to
disgusting.
10, how scared are you that your running belt's gonna fall inside? Because I'm always scared of that.
I had everything in my little clear bag, like all my snacks and my gels and stuff. The little like, just like bag that they give you.
the one you
So
get
I
at
put
the
my
end.
phone and everything in there, and then I just like held it while I went to the bathroom. Some person like
with
had
all
theirs.
of your strength.
Yes, all of my strength. Someone had like done
All of your
like
might.
left theirs outside the porta potty, and I was like, what if someone
Yeah.
grabbed it and like my phone,
Who would
my
do
belt,
that?
like on accident, but also like ew, like I
Oh.
don't want to lean my bag up against the dirty porta potty. Like this way, if I hold it, it's just in the air, not
You just
touching.
hold it in
anything.
the air. You
Yeah,
get
I
an
was
arm
like-
workout.
Yeah. So yeah, and then I got in line at the open corral, and I was like in the back-ish, but then the 740
What?
or the 340 pacer, because like you can't move. There's so many fucking people crammed in there, and the 340 pacer came through with their sign, and they were like shoving through the crowd because they're like have to get up towards the front of the open corral because they're the 340 pacer, and I was like, that's my guy, and so a line of us just like held on to each other and like forced
You're
our
like,
way up through the
"Follow."
crowd. Yeah, I was like, let's go. And so I couldn't get any further up. So I was like around the 340 pacer for the start, which was fine. I was like, as long as I'm not
What?
in the
So
back.
the 340 pacer was in the open corral.
Yeah, there's pacers in the open corral too.
Oh,
So I didn't know
that's
that.
dangerous, dude.
There's
That's
pacers in the
hella dangerous.
regular corrals and then pacers in the open corral.
So are you that far behind the regular corrals?
It's right behind the last one.
You realize how confusing that is if you're someone going for a 340 and you see the wrong 340
So
person.
that's a funny story. So at one point in the race, I'll just like for a second skip ahead, but I ended up with the 330 pacer, which is where I wanted to be. But this girl, she was like, okay, she wasn't running very fast, but we like were passing her, and I see her like look over and look up at the 330 pacer sign, and she was like, and gets all excited and is like talking to the pacer, and I think she thought the guy's like,
I've never
we're in
seen
the
that
open crowd.
before.
Like we were like flying past her because she was in the one of the actual like seated crowds, but it's just so funny because she probably thought she was like, I'm running a 330 pace.
Yeah, dude, that actually pisses me off. That is
Yeah, it was
very
confusing.
confusing and misleading.
It was
Anyway,
confusing because when we started too,
I'm
so
gonna
like
sue.
it's A, B, or
Yeah.
it's A through E, and so you're running. I wasn't running with the pacer at first. I like had gotten past the 340 pacer, but I was like, you just see a group of people and you'd be like, what is that? And then you'd look over and it'd be like 5 hours, 30-minute pacer. Because they were in the seated corrals and it was just like a fucking mess. And
It
so
should have like an open corral like mentioned on it.
I think it says open
okay,
really
okay.
small underneath. So it'll say 330 open.
In like 12 font.
Literally 12 font. And the first it like kind of was annoying. Not that bad. Like the first mile I was definitely dodging people. And like the thing that annoys me is when
Yeah.
there's like 6 friends, but they're like running in a complete perfect like line and just blocking the whole road.
Knock it off. Knock
And I'm
it
like,
off.
can you
that
guys
should
just
never be a
bunch
thing.
up? Like, why are you in
Yeah,
a line?
at least
so
for
I'm
the
kind of
first
like
5K.
yeah. So I kind of like was literally like shoving, like squeezing between people, which was probably kind of rude. But I'd be like, excuse me, and then I would just like
No,
run
not
through.
at all. Not at all.
Yeah, thank you. I'm like,
I
what-
remember
why
at the
are we-
Eugene Marathon, the girls were doing that, and I don't know why they went so far ahead in the corral, but they did, and I like to get around them instead of
Yeah.
going like, "You're not going to do that." So I was just like, "Oh, excuse
Not
me."
gonna
And the girl-
circumnavigate.
Exactly, Magellan,
Magellan.
Magellan again, and it was so annoying because I did that, and she was like, "Excuse me," and I was like, "Bitch, do not call me out within the first mile and ruin my vibe." And I was
Yeah,
just,
no.
I
That's when you
snapped back.
trip 'em.
I'm just like, you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be doing that. And then it like threw me
Good.
off. Anyway, so the first mile was kind of shitty. only the first mile?
Yeah, like I'd say like first 3 were tough, just dodging people. But
Oh.
like that's every race though, and it's just like even if there's like even the Long Beach half, I was in like B. You know what I mean? I was in like a good corral, and it's still people like walking. I think I made an
You were in
Instagram reel about
B?
that.
How were you not an A?
Maybe I was an A, but it's still like,
Yeah.
how am I an A and there are people walking in front of me? But some people just sneak their way in,
that's
and it's like I
crazy.
don't get that. Don't you
It's like,
want to be
why?
with people walking if you're gonna walk?
Like literally at what cost? Like
Yeah, literally what
do
cost
you
are
want
you
to
gonna get
die?
run over? Do you want to die? So
That's how you piss people off.
yeah.
But at what point, not to like get off track, but at what point of the race were you kind of like, oh, you know, when like you hit the mile like on the mark, you're like, hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. And then you start getting a little behind. At what mile did you realize like you're kind of getting a little behind because it's impossible to run the course perfectly?
Like behind my pace?
So like you hit the mile before the markers there. Just because,
God.
like, obviously, because like the tangents aren't with
my
people
God.
and
literally
it
like
being
2.
crazy.
Like
I
mile
was gonna
2.
say
It was
that's
so
gotta be the
bad.
case.
I ran my Garmin said I ran 26.5. So it's like
Okay, I was wondering.
I would hit the mile marker. Like at some point, it kind of regulated itself. So every time I hit the mile marker on my Garmin, I would hear it, and then I'd still have 0.2 until I hit the actual course mile
Doesn't that
marker. And I
piss
was
you
like, this
off?
fucking sucks, because then you're like thinking you're gonna be done sooner than you are, and that your time's gonna be faster than it is. So
I
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Which is actually an interesting point too, which we can talk about this on a later episode, but I'm realizing when people are saying their marathon PRs, in my head, I say when I ran the course.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's not official. Like the official time on the course is your marathon time. But
Right.
if you go on Strava, it will give you your marathon based on hitting 26.2.
Yes.
So when you say your marathon PR, do you say your Strava PR or the course PR?
That's tough, because technically I
Isn't that
did run a
interesting?
3:31 according to my Garmin.
Yeah.
According to the marathon course, it was a 3:33. I don't know. I just say the marathon, like the actual, like legal time, because I'm also like, what if
Yeah, and
someone,
then you're like, but it did go over.
and what if someone looks it up though, and they're like, I'm a 3:31 marathoner, and then someone's fucking so crazy that they like look my results up, and they're she's a liar, and then I get canceled. You know what I mean?
I see a lot of people saying their Strava times though, and I'm like, I've literally never done that.
I think too. Okay. Because I was telling Jordan, I was like, yeah, I ran 26.5. And he's like, there's no way the course was off that much. And it's like,
Oh, it's so easy.
it
so
is.
easy
Because
to
you're
do
running
that.
around people, so you're adding more
You can't
distance.
hit, you can't hit it perfectly. Exactly.
Also, though, I was
It's-
wondering, I'm like, maybe the Garmin is slightly messed up just because of all the people. And I'm like, maybe the GPS gets messed up. I don't know. But no, I
know.
just go off my actual time, like the chip time. So,
But I mean, pretty sick. You ran a 3:31.
I know. Technically,
Strava.
I ran a 3:31.
And 3:33, which we'll get there. Huge
get there.
PR, guys.
Oh,
coming
yeah.
up.
Sorry.
Napa's
Spoilers.
head is in a freaking backpack. Napa, are you kidding me?
Is
Her
it
head,
still?
I looked
oh,
down.
I was hoping
I
it
don't
would.
see your head.
I thought she was gonna
Yeah,
walk up
still
with
be
it
on
still.
her.
Oh, that'd be so cute.
Anyway.
Silly
Okay,
goose.
so the first 5, I'm like tracking you this entire time, by the
Yeah.
way. I feel like but I also know the course runs long, and the first 5K was like a 7:55 average.
Mm-hmm.
How did you decide to pace the start of the race?
I think my goal. I mean, I knew my goal was around a 3:30, and so I was like, okay. I was like, told my coach too, and he's like, he wanted me to negative split and I was like, there's no way, but it didn't happen. I did not negative.
Too many
split.
hills.
No, it was so hard. So I just kind of thought like high 7s was like the goal, but it was weird. Like I wasn't paying that much attention to my watch. I was kind of just getting in the zone, and like the miles were going by so fast. It was
Shut up.
crazy. Like I was zoned out.
That's amazing.
I know that never happens. Like at least for a
Ugh, it's the
half,
best
I'm
feeling.
like they kind of slide by until like mile 8, and then I'm like, holy fuck, I still have 5 miles left. But like, I don't think that it really slowed down to like 18. I was just like, I feel great. And at one point, I
Wow.
know I was like, this is a miracle. And then around mile like 4 or 5, I looked up and I saw a little group of people, and that was the 3:30 pacer. And I was like, oh my god. And I started
Non-open?
behind them.
Oh wait, no, open.
Open. So I
obviously.
started behind them because I started with a 3:40 pacer and open, and then had caught the 3:30 pacer. And so I was like, at least I know right now I'm gonna go a sub 3:30 because I started
Yeah.
behind them and I'm with them. So I'm like, if I can just stay with them. And we had a nice little group going. There were like probably 10 of us, 15.
Okay. Did
and
you speak any words?
No, not a word to anyone.
Do you just kind of look at them and you acknowledge like we're in this together?
Yeah.
That's like the most team mentality of an entire marathon is like the
Exactly.
pace groups. You're just
I
like,
do
we
feel like
are in a cult now.
Yeah, we're in a cult, like a quiet
The
understanding.
330 cult open crawl.
And they like, it was all men. I was like the only girl in that group. But I felt like, I don't know, I feel like they were kind of annoying me, some of them, because they'd kind of like, or like someone would join in and be like, I feel like I was getting like pushed out almost. It was just like, no, I'm supposed to be here. And then
Wait, I hate that.
right, I don't know, it was like people like bumping me. I don't know, not on purpose, but I was just like, okay, I'm literally running with this pace group, so get the fuck out of here. And then at mile, so I stayed with them and I was like in the zone. I was like, I feel so good. A couple times though, the pacer was fucking moving. Like on the downhills, he'd go in like 7:15, and I was like, this is not. But I'm like, obviously he's trying to make.
Was
up
he
for the
taking it easy
uphills.
on the uphill? Yeah,
Like maybe a little.
But-
so he's trying to like, balance it out. But sometimes he was going so fast, and I was like, this is not a 3:30
he must
pace.
have had pace anxiety or pacing
Maybe he
anxiety.
did. I was
you know?
like, this is
You're
so
just like,
fast.
Fuck.
It scared me though, because a couple times I'm like, I might die. But then there was one part where you're on Sunset, and I think you kind of like turn off of Sunset, and you go down this huge steep hill, which honestly is harder than going uphill in my opinion. Like especially a steep
You don't
hill.
like downhill running?
No, I like a slight downhill. This was like straight, like 12%.
Like
more.
rebel status.
Yeah, like you feel like you can't just run as fast as you can. You feel like you have to like control yourself, and then that,
Like you're
hurt your
gonna fall.
quads. Yeah, like that's steep. And
Interesting.
so I lost him because I was like, I couldn't run as fast down
Keep
the
up
hill
with
as
his
he was
fucking
running.
sub six.
Yeah, he was just like gone. I was like, all right. So I lost the pace group then around mile like 15 or 16. And then
That's
one of my
annoying,
friends from the
actually.
donut, it was kind of annoying. And then one of my friends from the donut club came up
Mile
behind me. She's
21?
like, oh my God. No, this was like 15. And she was like, I'm so happy to see you. She's like, I started fading because she was going for like a 3:35. And then I felt kind of bad because she was like trying to talk. She's like very cheery. She's just like,
I'm
my
out
God, I'm so happy
15?
to see-" Yeah, it was like, she's like, how are you feeling? Like, how's married life? Like making conversation. And I was
How's
like,
married life? I'm getting anxious.
she's so
right
sweet. I know. I'm like, that's good. I don't know.
You're
I
like-
was like just trying to like talk, but not be like rude. But I
now. Oh my god.
it was, I think she knew I didn't want to talk because she kind of quieted down. I think she just was like trying to distract herself, which is not what I like. We have different strategies, her and I, because I was like,
Yeah.
I just need to not talk. But then her and I were kind of like, she would lose me, and then I would get ahead of her. So I ended up ahead of her at some point. I think she kind of just like fell back. And then around mile like at this point too, when she caught up, I think it was mile around the half marathon mark maybe, and I ran my first half in like a 1:41 according to my Garmin, which is like my third fastest.
Wow. Nice.
No, it was like that was too fast probably. But the top of my left foot was hurting so bad. I thought I broke a bone, and I was like, what's happening? And so someone online on Instagram asked about my laces. And so I have.
So what shoes did you go with?
I went
by
with the
way, for
Celio,
people?
which was the one that my PT was like unsure about. I went the Celio, but they felt great. The tib was not tibbing.
Other than
Shin was
mile
not
15.
shivving. So the foot was footing though. And
But the foot was footing.
The foot was footing. So the laces I have
Could be
are called,
related to the shoes.
could be related shoes. So they're called Caterpie, and they're good for triathletes. The laces, if anyone was wondering about those, they are basically like have these bumps in them, so you can tighten them quickly without having to tie them. And so when you're doing a triathlon, it's good because you can just slip them on and go. But
Also good for toddlers.
also good for toddlers. And the problem, I think maybe on the left foot, the other nice thing about them is that you can change the pressure in different parts of like where they're laced, because they have those little like knobs in
Little
them. You can like
rivets.
loosen and tighten wherever you want. Yeah, little rivets. And I think I maybe
Wait,
just
that's
had them a
so
little too tight.
fascinating.
They're really cool. I love
Oh.
them. But I think they were just a little too tight in the middle of my left foot, and like that's all it was. But it hurt so bad. But then it went away. And then around mile like 18
You're like, and then
or-
my foot went numb and I couldn't feel anything.
yeah, then it broke, fell off. And then around mile 18 to 26, I mean, really, that's when like you start running through. It's kind of an out and back. So you kind of run past the finish line, which kind of sucks because you're like, I still have like fucking like 7 miles to go, and I can see people finishing.
Mentally, that's the worst.
It's tough.
I can't believe that's the end of the LA Marathon.
It's
How
weird.
illegal.
I know.
Jail
But
time.
But I will say it was hard,
Okay.
except for this entire section from the finish line and then it's out and back. They have like the most crowd support. It's like all the run clubs have tents. People were shooting confetti. It was
That's cool.
fucking lit. It was, and Strava was there. The donut people were there. Like,
Hell yeah.
everyone. It was so much fun. And so my friend Phil caught me from the donut. He's another guy from the donut club. And he was just doing his like training run, like a 20-mile training run. But he was stopping at the donut club cheer section. Like, so he started and then he was just going to run to the donut club and then like be done with his workout. And so he caught me and he's like, how are you doing? And I was like, not good. And he ran with me for like 2 miles, which was so sweet. And
Oh my
I
God,
was like,
nice.
slowly though, that's like exactly when I started dying. Because when he caught me, I was still kind of moving. And then I like immediately, like, he had to keep slowing down. And then my left knee hurt, like literally so bad, like out of nowhere. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to stop. Yeah, so standard.
Yeah,
it went
a new
away.
body part, of course.
Just, yeah, a new body part.
22.
But then like a mile later, it stopped hurting.
So just to follow up from last episode, Tamra said that mile 21 was the worst mile ever.
I would
because
agree.
Of the uphill. You agree?
Oh, yeah. So, yeah.
Tamara.
There was a really long, it's not like steep, but it's long uphill.
Yep.
And then I think you like go downhill, but then you're like, no, you're going to have to come back up that hill when you come back. So that was tough. And but the crowds really help. And Phil was like, you're almost to the end of the uphill. And I was like, yeah, but then I'm gonna have to go downhill and then back uphill again. But Phil really got me through that section, which was nice. And that was kind of sad.
You're
so
nice
I had,
to him.
Huh?
Sometimes, like, if I'm on a run with Dov and I'm like, all we have to do is do this quick out and back, he's like, shut up. You're ruining my mental game. You know what I mean? If like you picture it differently than they do.
Right, that's true.
You're positive. You're a positive runner.
Sweet. And I felt, okay, so I did bring my hand bottle, which I'm glad I did. It was like my emotional support.
Oh.
I had the salt in it, and then I had brought an extra packet of the salt drink mix, and I had it in a little pocket that's on the water bottle. But I think when I took I had a gel in there too, and I think when I took the gel out, I accidentally pulled out. Yeah, so around mile 21, my feet started cramping, and I was like, oh, I just need more salt. And so I went to like get the packet of drink mix out to put it in, and it was gone. And I was like, no. So it really sucked. But then I started drinking the electrolyte on the course, and that was good. But my feet
I'm sure made up for it.
Yeah. They were cramping though.
Dang.
So bad. But like,
I mean, you didn't really change up your pace that much in the last 10K.
Not
you
too
know?
bad.
Like,
yeah. I don't know. My mom's like, I saw there was like a 9-minute mile in there. And I was like, shut up, Mom. My grandpa.
But honestly, it's really easy to hit some 10.
That's
like 10
true.
plus digits when you're like really dying in the last 10K. Your mom, I saw a 9-minute mile.
She's
You're
like, I knew. And I was like, Mom. And my grandpa too. I was like, yeah, I kind of died around mile 20. And he's like, yeah, I can picture it. I was like, what the fuck, Grandpa? It's like, damn. It's like, okay.
Is that the grandpa on Strava?
Yeah. Love him.
Love.
But I died. So my feet started cramping, my knee hurt. So around mile 21 on that hill, I was like, this is the worst. That's probably when I hit that 9-minute. But then,
of course,
one more mile or so till the turnaround. And then when you're at the turnaround, you're like, okay, I really only have 3 miles left. That's
like
it.
5K,
3 miles.
Let's go.
And it's like, you have to run up a hill. You have to run like 2 more hills. But still, you're like.
Plus the additional 0.2.
Yeah. Plus the extra. Jesus. But it was just, I don't know, like the feet were cramping, but like I get foot cramps all the time, just like never when I'm running. And honestly, rather have a foot cramp than any other cramp. I mean, it would get really bad and I would like limp, but if you keep running, it kind of just loosens up on its own.
Totally.
Right?
It's not like a hamstring or
like
quad
a
where it's
calf.
like debilitating. You fall.
Oh my God,
a calf. At
quad
what cost? Can you imagine?
Quad is like, I've had that in races like half Ironman and you can't even run. Like
It'll
you literally can't. Yeah, it'll take you out.
Yeah,
but like foot chilling.
It's like you're just pounding on it. You're basically like just waking it up every time you move.
Yeah. So a couple times I was like limping and then it would just like release and then but it just kept happening. But then at the turnaround I was like, all right, 3 miles. I was like, that's nothing. And then I also am proud of myself because this is the first marathon where I haven't had to walk at all. I think 2 of the aid stations near the end I like just walked a little because I wanted to drink the electrolyte without like pouring it all over myself.
Doesn't count.
Doesn't count. It was like 2 feet.
Yeah.
And
then you go.
Exactly. Dumped a little water in myself. And then on the way back, you do have to go back up a like kind of an incline for a little bit. It's not too bad.
Ugh.
I know. And then you're like on a downhill and you're like, this is great. And you can see the finish line. But as you're going down the downhill, you can see there's this like pretty steep hill like to the finish line. So
what the hell?
Okay,
LA?
the finish line, the last 200 feet or so are flat. But right before that, you have this like steep ass hill. But there were so many people cheering. Like it's because you're right before the finish line. It was fucking lit. And I was like, well, I can't.
You almost don't
walk
even
this hill.
feel the pain.
No.
You're kind of numb to it anyway.
Exactly.
And you can see the finish line, so you can just do it. It's
Exactly.
like when you get that kick at the end of a race and all of a sudden you're sprinting at a sub
That's
6.
what I was doing.
You're just like
sub 6.
literally
sub 3. I was going 2-minute miles. I was like, let's go.
Yeah.
But it was so fun because like there are tons of people I knew cheering in that area. And like I was like, I can't let them down. But like I felt bad because some people literally were walking that hill. And I was like, literally, you gotta go. Because it's right there. Like I can see the finish
Honestly,
line. Come on.
If I hit a wall, I would be one of those people walking, probably.
And you'd be so like, I'd be so mad because we've all been there.
And I'd be
where you're
crying.
like crying, literally crying.
You're so
and, like,
pissed. You're just like, I'm not doing this again. Like, what aid station am I gonna like stop at and break my leg? Like the thoughts that you go through your head if you hit a wall or have a bad race.
It's tough.
It's really dark.
It gets dark. But yeah,
really
I don't think I had that too bad. It was just like
it sounded like you were really good.
My mental state was great, except around mile like 20. That's when it kind of, and it wasn't even that bad. It was just kind of like, it wasn't like, oh, I can't really explain it. It wasn't like I was dreading the rest of the race or like, oh, 6 miles is so long or anything like that. It was just like I was in pain. You know, it was like the knee hurt and the feet hurt. And I was just like, okay, like I don't want to like actually have a knee problem and like hurt myself for like the rest of the season and stuff. But then it just went away.
That's true. It's not like this is a good race for you, but it's not like it's your race of the year.
It's just,
so that's kind of a good feeling.
it is a good feeling. So
A little less pressure.
Across the finish line, 3:33:54. Barely made it into
26.5 miles ran.
26.5. Ran in an ultra, guys.
Oh wait, so you did a sub 3:34 official by 6 seconds?
Mm-hmm. So barely
Nice.
squeaked in. And Jordan was at the finish, which was exciting. I actually saw him, which was crazy because it was so crowded. Cute. It was so cute. And I was glad he made it because I'll tell him, I'll be like, you just guess. You're like, oh, try to be at the finish line around 10, knowing I'm not going to finish under 3 hours. But like with like traffic,
it's
and
better to be
and
there
everything,
earlier.
Yeah. And I was just like, half the time I'm like, is he going to even make it? But he made it and he parked, and it's right by the Westfield Century City Mall. And so you're able to just park in the garage. But he said the line of cars. So when we left, like it was fine. Like you had to walk for so long after the finish line, like forever to like meet him. And then we had to walk back to the car. And I was just like, I'm going to die. It was the longest walk. And then when we were leaving, like driving out was fine. But the line of cars, which also the mall was open for like regular people. And I'm like, imagine if you were just like, oh, we're gonna go to the mall Sunday, and then you show up,
tourist coming into town. You're just like, the fuck are these sweaty people doing here?
The whole parking garage is just and then everyone in the mall is like an athlete, just like trying to get back to their car because it's like an open mall. And then like all these people are also just trying to shop, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. But when we left, the line of cars to get into the parking garage was like miles and miles and miles, and I was like, these people are definitely like missing people at the finish line.
You just gave me a really vivid memory from 2014 LA, which I'm really, obviously it's a different finish line.
Yeah.
But it was, Santa Monica, the finish line shoot was so long.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember how long it was to get to the end?
Vaguely.
It was like, maybe not a half mile, but it was so long to the point where you're just kind of like, I guess that's good because you're like shaking it out. Same with you, like getting to your car.
Yeah,
like
that's
you
true.
need that little like shakeout walk to like not just tense up and like seize over.
That's true. Yeah, I crossed the finish line and like, you walk through, get your metal banana, whatever. And then they just kind of like guide you a whole city block. And then that's where they like, you meet your people. But it like my friend, the one who I was running with around mile 15, she finished after me. And then like, we're talking to each other after the finish line. And she's like, do you want to find a spot like up here in the shade to like sit down? And I was like, no. If I sit down, I'm not getting back up. No offense.
Did you go to the beer garden or anything?
No. I didn't want beer or anything. I just like got my snacks and then I walked over and I met Jordan.
Your banana.
I didn't have my ID either, which they're like weird about. So
Oh, usually like you get a little thing before at the expo, right?
I didn't. Yeah. I saw the tent for that, but I was just like, I don't really care now.
Oh, I wish I was
I
there
know.
and we could have celebrated post race.
I felt I was not hungry for so long. It was weird.
Yeah, that delayed hunger.
It hit
Oh
me.
wait, so real fast because I have 100
Yeah.
questions about food
Tell
and
me.
hunger, obviously.
Yeah. Obviously.
When you crossed the finish line, how good did you feel? Because this was a huge PR for you.
I felt really good. Well, I felt really good to be done. I was happy. I was
Did
super
you
happy.
scream? Were you just like, woohoo? Are you a woo girl?
I put my arms up when I crossed, but that was it. And then I just like
Did you like
bent
feel
over.
it? Did it like, was it guttural? Like, did
I
it
think
come
so.
up? Did you do it for the photo or was it like a feeling
was for
inside
the
that you're
photo.
like, I need to put my hands up?
This for the photo. I think I just like I knew I was gonna have. Okay, that sounds so cocky. I knew I was gonna have a PR for sure because I just haven't run a marathon so long.
obviously.
But
And look at your half marathon time. You like,
yeah, right. But I was like, I didn't really have a specific goal. Like, I would have loved to go sub 3:30 if I. It wasn't like a. I don't know. It wasn't like a. I have to or I'll die. I just wanted to be in
any
the
other
neighborhood.
course. Any
That's
other
true.
course.
Any other course. Because it was
This is a
hard.
hard
It was
course.
silly. But I was really happy, and I was just honestly so happy to be done running. I was so happy, but like happy to
Such a
PR
good
too.
Yeah,
I've like
freaking
take some
huge
minutes to
PR.
sit in or set in. You know what I mean? Sometimes.
It took me like 10 years to PR. And then it like for a while I was kind of like, I don't know how I feel about this. And I don't know. It's just like
It's
a weird feeling.
It is,
Yeah.
and like I wasn't like I kind of would look down at my pace. Okay, I don't know if you do this. Like I do like mental math, especially during half Ironman runs because I just want it to be done. But like I'll be
So
running,
much mental
and
math.
I'll be like at mile 10, and I'll be like, okay, even if I slowed down to a 10-minute mile for the next 3 miles, and then I'll like be
You'll
like
still
that's
hit a sub
30
4 in
minutes.
PR.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
like I'll still hit this time, and I'm like, but I won't slow down to a 10-minute pace, so it's fine. I can still slow down now and like do all this
Yeah.
math. But I like totally didn't do that on Sunday. I just like
Wow, you were feeling that
I
good.
wasn't doing
You didn't
any
have to
math.
bargain with yourself.
I wasn't
You know what's-
bargaining. Yeah.
You know, it's fucked up when you start doing the math as well as the emotional toll that it will take on you if you hit a certain
real.
time.
No, seriously.
You're just
It's-
like, I can slow down now, but how upset am I going to be with myself when I get to mile 22?
Yes.
And how does that weigh into it, fractionally speaking, equals MC squared? Like, you start thinking of like, I want to be happy at the end of this, not pissed. So, like, what do I have to do to be somewhat okay?
Yes. I totally done that. And like,
It's fucked up.
it is fucked up. And it's like, sometimes, and then you get to a point sometimes where you're like, I don't even care. I don't even care. I just want to finish. Like,
don't even
literally
care.
don't care. But I don't know. I
Like,
was just
I don't
kind of,
care.
I would look at my pace and be like, okay, that's fine. And then even when I slowed down, I was like, it's fine. But I wasn't like stressing about like, well, I have to pick it up to this pace so I can run a 3:30. I was just chilling. And you know what else about a marathon? So a
What?
half marathon, I feel like when I did Long Beach, I was like balls to the wall. Like I feel like that's, I don't know, it's the same thing with swimming distances too and stuff. It's just like a half marathon is so fucking hard because I can run
So
fast
hard.
for 13 miles.
So
like I can
fast.
just like run super fucking fast with my heart rate maxed out for an hour and a half. But like a full marathon is
Redline it.
kind of relaxing because I was like, I don't have to redline. I actually will die if I do. And so you
Right.
just like
Yeah, wait, what's
fall
redline?
into like
Yeah.
a more chill pace. And you're
Yeah,
like, this
it's
is
like
kind of nice.
Comfortably difficult until like around mile 20 where you're
Yeah.
like, holy shit, this really sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
But like it's so funny. And then
is
it's
funny.
when you start doing only marathons, which obviously I got into that like world for a while, like it's so intimidating to drop back down and race a half.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That,
I
like,
could see that.
It's scary because you're like,
Yeah.
oh God. Now my marathon time, like to improve your marathon time, you should really work on halves because
Right.
that's how I knew you were gonna have like an amazing marathon. Because I mean, look at your half marathon, which is the most painful race. In the
It
entire
is. And it's
world.
like definitely my favorite. Like I still like love the half so
It's fun.
much. But it is like, and the same thing with swimming. Like I swam all the longer distances, but it was like the 500 freestyle versus the mile. And I was such a good miler, the longest distance you could do. And I loved it because you could just like fall into a rhythm
Zone in.
and just like zone in. And like the 500 was kind of the same, but the 500 was like you're maxing out your heart, like you're going to die, but for a long time.
Yeah.
So it's like very similar.
It's
And
kinda
a half
funny.
Ironman versus a full.
when you say like fall into a rhythm, it's kind of like a dance when you're like really,
Oh,
and that's how
yeah.
I kind of think of like the running high. Obviously, like getting a running high during a race, like you might just get like a lot of endorphins that feel like a running high, but obviously running high is more when you're going at like a comfortable pace.
Yeah.
But it almost like you're in a groove and it feels
Yeah.
like it's kind of like it's like music. It's like jazz. You're just kind of it's kind of like when I was a barista and I would like get into how you do it and it feels like a little like not
Yeah.
mechanical, but like you're like improving and you're feeling so good and like you got the hill, you got the downhill. That's when you know like you're in sync with your body and your mind
Exactly.
and your
And that's how it
ability.
was, except for at mile
Oh
20.
my God. What kind of jazz was it? Was it just like
It was
dun,
smooth.
dun, dun? It was
Yeah.
smooth.
Smooth jazz. And then at mile 20 to 26, it was just sad.
Screamo.
It was just like survival. Like, just keep your legs moving. That's what
Eye
I
of
kept
the
thinking
tiger.
too. It was just like 6 miles is still kind of a lot, in the grand scheme of things. You're like, okay, that I still have 6 miles to go. But like at the same
So
time,
gnarly.
you're like, it's only 6 more miles and then I'll be done. And it's just like,
You know what's also weird? That 6 miles feels like a lot, but then when you get to the 5 miles, it feels longer than the 6 miles, and then the 4 miles feels longer than
That's
the 6
true.
miles, and then it keeps,
Yeah.
and then 2 miles, you're like, I literally would prefer to do the 6 miles because my head was in a better place.
even 1 mile, that was hard too. Cause it was like, it felt like the longest mile of my life. But it was good. Now I'm done.
Anyway, okay, going back to what you ate. So then you weren't hungry, which is like, can happen.
Yeah. Yeah, it can happen. It doesn't have halves. I'm like hungry right away, but if I exercise a lot, like big bike rides are the kind of the same too. But I finished, and then I got my snacks, like all the free snacks.
Your snacks.
I like put them in my little bag of my, like the
Were they
blankets they
good?
give you. They're good. It was like chips and then granola bars and stuff. So it was like pretty good. I have so many because they kept giving them to me. I was like, all right. And then we just went back to Jordan's car, and I like knew I wanted to get a big meal at some point during the day. And so we were like driving back, and I was like, I don't know what to have for lunch. And Jordan's like, why don't you just make something? And I'm like, that's so fucking lame. After a race, I was like, we should go to In-N-Out.
After killing yourself for 3.5 hours.
right.
Oh, hell yeah.
Well, I said In-N-Out,
you?
but then I like wasn't very hungry still, and I was like, no, it's fine. So we went home, and then I took a shower, and it burned. I chafed. I mean, obviously, someone commented on my Instagram, and he's like, you put on chafe like cream in the video. How did you still chafe? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. I'm not a physicist.
Somebody commented that?
Yeah, I was like,
I'm sorry, I'm not a chemist. Like,
yeah,
I don't
I
understand.
sweat it off. Literally, I don't know. Shut up. But the top,
NA
I'll show you.
too.
If you're watching on YouTube, you're getting a little exclusive sneak peek at my cleavage.
Little
I'm just kidding.
strip
My
tease.
cleavage. So the top of my
Oh,
sports
because you wore the
bra,
tighter sports bra.
I
Yeah.
did, which shouldn't have chafed. So that's why I bought the tighter sports bra, is because the looser ones chafe.
Chafes
And now this
down
one was
there.
tight, but it got so sweaty, it just was moving around. And then heart rate monitor didn't chafe. I chafed.
Nice.
It's like
I know where you're not.
my
You're like,
crotch.
how am I going to phrase this? Oh, yeah.
So it was like kind of where the crotch and the leg kind of meet. And I think it was just like my shorts got kind of bunched a little weird in the crotch
Yeah.
area, and then just rub. And I could feel it during the race, and I was like, this isn't going to be good when I get in the shower. And then between the cheeks.
The worst places.
Yeah.
Between the
literally worst.
cheeks.
Girl, between the fucking cheeks. I didn't know.
I didn't know this was. I know we like joked about putting like the sham butter
Oh,
between
I
your
didn't.
cheeks,
I
but like,
forgot.
how do you chafe between your cheeks?
I
You
have
a nice
no
ass
idea.
if you could
Thank
chafe
you.
between your cheeks.
It's so juicy. I don't know.
You do have a good butt,
I-
but like, what part? I like the
Like
the
the
rhombus. At
The rhombus.
like the end,
the start, middle,
At
end, the whole.
the end. It's a circle, so I guess
It's kind of like mid crack, not like the top of the crack, not like the whole.
so you have two
area.
cheeks.
Yeah, so you got
Mid-crack.
two cheeks, mid crack.
Is it because the cheeks were going like this the whole time?
I think they were just kind of
like you were twerking the entire race.
the whole race. You know, I wish someone would weigh in. I think it's just like your legs are moving, and then they just go like your cheeks are just kind of like gently rubbing together. But for 26
see
miles,
Can you like see it in the mirror?
you know what's funny? I think I didn't look this time, but I've chafed there in like triathlons before, and I have looked, and it's just like, like all
Just
the
a little
other
red.
just red, yeah. But I didn't know I chafed in the cheeks, in the crack
Until the shower.
until the shower, and so I got in, hit the water on the front, hit the chest area. I was screaming in agony. I was like, it sounds so dramatic, and I'm sure Jordan.
No, it's so painful.
Jordan was probably like, this girl needs to calm down, but I was like, it hurts so bad. It hurts so bad. And then I was like, okay.
Harder than the last 10K.
But it's weird because it's only that initial shower. Like once the water hits it, and then it doesn't hurt anymore ever again. Right?
Yeah,
like,
it's almost like you're taking the salt out of it. It's like the salt combo with the, you know what I mean?
You're so smart. Because like after that it was fine, but then I turned around in the shower and then it hit the crack, and I was like,
hit the crack.
I thought I was gonna pass out. I was like, this hurts so bad. Yeah.
Okay. So you cried in the shower.
Cried in the shower.
What did you end up making for lunch?
Okay, so yeah, I took a shower, put my PJs on. It was like 1 p.m., but I was like, I'm going to park it on the couch.
You have to.
It was amazing. I had a bag of chips, which was one of the ones I got at the expo. It was so good. I just wanted salt. I had cheeses, a bag of chips, and then I made a quesadilla because I didn't feel like making eggs. A quesadilla just sounded so good. So I had like a tortilla, a lot of cheese, another tortilla.
Eat whatever sounds good at that point, you know?
So good. And then I had like 40 drinks. You know, I had like a Coke, Gatorade, water, like everything. And then I wasn't like that hungry. I ate it. And then at like 3, I was like really hungry. And I was like, I got to fight through at least to like almost appropriate dinner time. So at 4:30, I asked Jordan, I was like, are you ready for me to order dinner? He's like, actually, I'm kind of hungry. And I was like, thank God.
Perfect.
So we got Howlin' Rays, which is, you have to, next time you're here, we'll go. It's so fucking good. It's chicken sandwiches. I like knew that's what I wanted.
Oh, you talked about that on like the first episode. Oh, which is very serendipitous.
I think because Jordan's family was there for the Rose Bowl. We went with that.
Yeah.
So good. So good.
It looked like a really good sandwich post race.
It was just.
Or do you call it a burger?
It was euphoric.
When it's chicken, do you call it a burger or do you call it a sandwich?
Just call it a sandwich. You know? It was great.
Burger vibes in a sandwich form.
Exactly. And then we laid on the couch and I started falling asleep on the couch. And Jordan's like, I think it's time for bed. And then at like 9, I went to bed. Slept like a fucking baby. And you know what?
Damn.
I will say a couple things.
Okay.
I felt tired, but not like, I don't know. I felt like fine. Usually after a really long race, I always feel kind of like sick or like my head kind of hurt a little just because I was dehydrated, but not that bad. And I peed.
Yeah.
Okay, so sometimes this is also kind of upsetting, but sometimes after a longer race, it's like half Ironman and stuff, I won't pee for like hours and hours and hours because I don't have to. But I peed right when we got home. I was like, this means I'm hydrated-ish.
You did some good hydrating.
I did. I was like, oh my God, I never have to pee. And then the rest of the day, I was just like tired. And then yesterday, and I did my laundry, as I told you, just like going down the stairs.
I can't believe you did your the day after.
I don't know why I did my laundry. That was stupid. But, you know, I live up all those stairs, and going down the fucking stairs has been the challenge. My left quad, I'm like, I don't know. I'm like kind of worried I tore something. I don't think that I did, but the left quad hurts so bad. Even today, I went to the pool this morning just for like a shake, I swam. I by the way, felt amazing on my swim. At first, I felt tired and then I felt fast. I was like, this is weird. But every time I'd push off the wall, I was like, because my quad hurt so bad. I was like, this is, I think.
But it was just like an easy swim, right?
Oh, yeah. It was chill. And I don't know. By the end of the swim, it like felt better to push off the wall. So I was like, maybe I need this to just like, you know, loosen that bitch up.
Loosen it up. Which I thought was kind of interesting. We were talking about, we paused the conversation. I'm like, let's talk about this on the pod. The difference between, because you're going into another, what are you training for next?
So hopefully St. George 70.3. I think I'll get in, which is
when is it again?
Like less than 2 months. It's May 10th.
Oh shit. Okay.
11th.
So you're jumping into another training block.
Yeah.
But like probably with a little bit of time to recover. But I thought it'd be interesting to compare the difference between post week of a marathoner versus a triathlete. But it could obviously differ quite a bit because you are going into another race and you're not going to have all this time to recover. So what does it look like for you this time around?
So yesterday was rest day, obviously. And then today, just an easy swim. It felt really good. And I'll probably go for a walk just because it's also fucking nice out. And I'm like, it's just good to move, I think helps a lot.
Yeah, some movement.
I will never be one of those people. You know how some people can run the day after a marathon? They'll be like, just
that's
shakeout
that's
run.
just stupid. That's a show off. That's no one should do
I would
that.
collapse.
Unless
Like,
you
it
have a
just helps me
streak,
shake it out. I can't even walk.
walk.
I'm limping. Like my quad.
Well, I guess
is
it depends.
seizing
Like,
up.
did you like jog the marathon?
Okay, true. Maybe if it was like an easier.
Was it like a training run for an ultra? Like,
Couldn't
there's
be me.
obviously some cases.
That's true.
but, like,
These bitches out here, man, they be running like full ultras. I'm like, no wonder you can run. Oh my God, I met this girl at the Strava event on Friday. And she's, I don't know how old she is. She can't be older than mid-20s. Her name's Jocelyn. She's ran 127 marathons, and she has the record for the youngest person to ever ran 100 marathons. I'm like, you are so fucking
that
cool.
tells me one thing.
What?
She's really fucking rich.
She must be. I didn't ask.
Thousands of dollars.
Thousands of dollars. But also, like, that's so
thousands.
Cool. She's so cool. And I found out, though, like, she's just a Strava athlete.
Shout out. If you're listening to this, that's
Shout
dope.
out to Jocelyn. She apparently, we were like sitting there and she's like, yeah, I live in downtown LA, but she's like, I'm training for my first ultra. And I was like, oh, like, where are you training? Like, what trail runs? She's like, oh, I run in the San Gabriels. And I was like, okay, wait, there's no way she doesn't know all of the people that I know. And then it turns out she knows everyone that I know. She knows Phil, the guy who's running
best friends,
my like donut run people. And I was like, okay, I need to like, and she was so nice. And so I was like, I need to like actually start trail running at some point. Anyway, so I got really off
she has
course.
a trust fund, so like
she's got a trust fund. Potentially. Yeah. Super cool though. 127 marathons. I can't. I'm like, I ran 4, guys.
I mean, that's like really doing it every week. You know?
Literally every week. It's crazy. So anyway,
depending on when she got into it. So if she did,
16?
let's say 25 marathons. Oh, okay.
She could be like 30. I don't know. I didn't ask. She looks young though. She could have a baby face. Who knows? But I could look her
50.
up. I could look up her age. I guess I could look up her race
surgery.
results.
She could afford it.
That's true.
Yeah, let's stalk her and figure it out.
We will. Also at that Strava event, I was like chatting. I mean, everyone there was like super cool. Like you would like some people like I just like they walked in and I was like they're too cool for me. You know what I mean? I was like, wow.
Oh, get out of here.
Just like very cool sunglasses, and like this one girl had like the coolest bubble braid situation, and like she just looked so cool. And I was like, wow,
but was she
look at
nice?
her.
I don't
didn't
like
really
when
talk
someone
to her.
looks cool and then they're assholes. I'm
She
like,
could've been
get over
nice.
yourself.
There were like too many people there. It was kind of hard to so you walk in and it was like they had the whole restaurant rented out, and so you walk in, everyone's kind of standing around, and I felt like awkward because I didn't know anyone. But then I saw the Jocelyn girl and then a couple other girls that were standing there, and I was like, they look nice. Let me go chit chat with them. And so I ended up just like kind of sitting with them, but it was hard because everyone was sitting at tables, so I didn't really get to like network as much. You know what I mean? But there was one guy who was an Olympian, and I was like, okay, this is the other thing. I'm like glad I wasn't networking because I'm like, I didn't actually know who he was. I'm just so like fucking in my own world.
You probably don't know most of those people.
That's
I was actually
true.
thinking of that too at influencer events, especially if you're full of yourself. If someone comes up and they introduce, they're like, hey, what's your name? They're probably like, but like you have to just assume no one knows you.
No, because
even
how many
Olympians? Like it's confusing.
Right. And there's
Unless
so many
you're
influencers
like
in the
George
world.
Clooney, I'm not going to know who you are.
No, unless I like.
I don't even think I know
follow
George Clooney.
you and I know who you are, but I'm like, there's too many influencers in the world. But this like guy he was there, and then I saw them like I was like stalking everyone that Strava tagged, and he was like an Olympian, and I'm like, I'm glad I like wasn't talking to him because he'd probably be like, oh, this dumb bitch doesn't even know I'm an Olympian.
Get out of here.
But there were some other people, and I stalked them later, and like the really cool girl with the cool hair had a 6.6 million followers on Instagram. I was like, holy shit, these are like legit.
Who was it?
I forget. I don't know.
Like,
I've never
better
seen her
show up
before.
with some cool hair.
She's like beautiful, like and makeup. I think she's like makeup, but also running. And then she's married to another guy who was there, who's like a running influencer.
Always
in
some
Orange
good
County.
brand deals. Oh my god, I wonder who it is.
His
I wonder
name.
if I know them.
If you said his name, I would know. He's like long brown hair. There you go.
Thanks
That's
for that.
the descriptor.
Yeah.
I'm sure I could find it in like 2
We'll
seconds.
follow
Wait,
up.
Hold on, I'll tell you right now. Because he was tagged in Strava's post that I was in. Anyway, sorry, I got really off topic with that. Okay, here we go. His name
I love
is
that.
Sebastian. No, wait, was it him? No. Is it? Sebastian Robles?
Let me look.
And then his girlfriend is Karen Sarahi Gonzalez. And her username is I love Sarahi. And his girlfriend or his wife, they're married, I think. She was the one. She was so pretty. I was like, who is this?
Oh my God, she's so pretty.
Yeah, I was like, you just like I saw them from afar. They were like out, so I was walking up and I saw them outside the restaurant, like taking pictures. Cause like influencing, as we do. But I was just like,
oh here's her at the Strava event.
Yeah. I was like, these people are fucking insane, like so pretty.
We can give you bubble braids. We can give you bubble hairdo before the next influencer event. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there she is. Oh, cool. Yeah, I see that at the Strava cheers. Oh yeah, Strava had a lit cheer station, and they had a photographer. Oh my God, I didn't share the pictures. I haven't posted them yet.
Should we transition? You have to post them. Send them to me. Should we transition to being running/makeup influencers so we can like get some really good makeup?
She's so diverse. She's doing like both. She's getting like followers for both things, and I'm like, my niche is too small. I think it's just
we need to open it up. Okay, this is a fun question. If you had to expand your niche to be running plus something else, what would it be?
That's one of the pictures. I feel like I'm posting too much.
It's too pixelated for me to see, but it looks cute as fuck.
My fucking wife. I'll send them to you. Anyway, what were you gonna say?
If you had to be two things, like a hybrid influencer, what do you think you could be? Like for example, I could not be lifestyle because all of my pictures are crooked, my frames are crooked, and I just don't record enough of my life. So
I know the lifestyle influencer. Like I was stalking.
It's hard.
I was stalking her, and I was like she's so good at getting like everything, and then there's other, but it's not just like
fun.
It's not just getting everything either. It's like all her content, it's perfect. You know what I mean? I'm like, how are you?
It's editing.
It's good editing. And then I'm like, how are you out here just setting up a camera? I don't know. I'm like, that would be, lifestyle
that'd be hard.
It'd be hard. I think that I would do.
Difficile. But you craft your message, It's like yours could be like the oatmeal making girl in the morning. That's your lifestyle content.
Yeah, that's true. I would probably do like outdoor.
Yeah, that's true. Outdoor adventure.
But I don't outdoor enough now.
Live your best camping life that you want. That like force you to camp more.
Like Kaylee King. I can't talk. Kaylee Kling.
That you would want that to be you.
Oh yeah, there's like a group of them that are all friends.
You would live in a van.
They all live in a van. They're like all #van life, and it's like her and like two other girls, and they all hang out, and then they'll be like in fucking Lake Tahoe. And just like living there. Like one of them has a house has a home in Lake Tahoe and then like also lives in a van. And I'm like, that is my life dream. I would die for that.
You would want to do #van life?
I would. Jordan would not.
I would do hotel life. And you can come to the hotels that I stay at.
Take a shower.
Yeah, and shower. And then I'll drive your van to the store.
That sounds perfect. Okay. My friend Catherine.
I could do van life for like a while, maybe.
I think what I would need is I would have to have a home base. The one that in Tahoe, like she's got a house, but then also a van. So it's like,
okay, well that doesn't count.
Shit can be in that's true, but it's still like, or like Catherine, my friend Catherine has a house here, and then she's got like a Mercedes Sprinter van that she takes to all her bike races. She like built it out, and I'm like, she doesn't have to pay for hotels. She's got a little toilet in there.
I'm really glad that we did this recap though, because I was dying to know about how it went. I was
dying to tell you.
I love a recap.
I know. Hopefully that wasn't like super boring for all the listeners, especially because I've posted about it 100 fucking times already. So
literally not at all. Also, stories go away in 24 hours, and a lot of people don't even see them.
That's true. I'm like posting a lot on my feed though, and then those pictures came in from Strava, and I'm like, they're so good. I want to post them.
You have to post
posting too much. You're right.
No, when you get a PR, you can post about it for a year. That is the quota of time that you can.
I think you're right, and I think other people like. So I was stalking a couple other running influencers. Chelsea runs. And do you follow Amanza on the run? She's Canadian, has like the longest hair.
I should.
She's really cute.
The longest hair. Is she a hair influencer too?
Probably. It's beautiful. But I was like stalking them, and I was like trying to figure out like what kind of marathon content should I record? And I was like, Chelsea runs. You just call her Chelsea. Was it like she was
pumps it out?
Yeah, she would post like a few reels per marathon, and I was inspired.
That's normal.
And I liked seeing it. You know what I mean? So I was like, I should do that too. Yeah.
For the high achievers, like do as many as you can.
Exactly. So I'm like, fuck it. And I've got like 3 more. I took one of me just like walking down the stairs because I was like barely moving.
As you should.
And then I was like, why is walking down the stairs harder than the marathon itself? I was thinking about posting that one. literally. So
I feel like you can get injured from walking down the stairs too, because the form that you're using to walk down the stairs is like so messed up.
oh yeah, I'm like one step at a time, like leaning on the railing. So,
One step at a time.
literally one
You
step
have a
at a time.
mantra. You should post like, you
Just
have a
one
mantra
step
to
at a
go
time.
down the stairs. Did you have a mantra at the race?
It was one step at a time. I'm just kidding. Not really. Not really. I don't know.
I had a
Don't
mantra.
die.
My speed workout yesterday that went super,
Oh,
super
yeah.
well. I had a mantra.
What was it?
I always feel so damn corny when I have a mantra during a run, but it actually happens. Like something happens in your brain during a run or a race, and you just get so corny. If you're not a corny person, you will start being one. It was push into the unknown.
Oh my God, I love it. Shut up. That's perfect. I guess.
Okay,
Okay.
just like I never run some of these paces, and I know I can do it. So why am
into
I
the
not
unknown.
challenging myself to do it? Push into the
'Cause
unknown.
how are you going to know what happens in the unknown unless you push into it?
Exactly. As I was listening to Sweetie in my headphones,
yeah.
like
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I guess at the marathon, it was kind of like around mile 22, I was like literally 1 foot in front of the other. I was like, just keep running. And this one's like stupid.
okay,
and-
Finding Nemo.
Right. The other one was pain is temporary, which is like so fucking corny.
But no, it helps.
But it literally
It's
is
weird.
temporary. Also, real quick,
You're like, it's literal too.
literally, so many people have the same. I feel bad because people think that they're funny with the marathon signs.
Oh, signs. I was gonna ask if you saw any good ones.
I think 95% of the people, like the first time I saw it, I was like, that's funny. And then by I was like, I've seen this sign 150 times. It was, you're running better than our government, which like fair. But it was like every
Which,
single
like,
sign.
spot on.
But I was like, each
Spot
one of those
on.
people probably thought they were so creative. And I was like, I don't even know that the other
I wonder the
100
percentage of people who just go online and say like, what's a good sign to do?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I want to see that you made it up with your own brain. You didn't go on ChatGPT.
Right.
Like, I want it to be so like
Right. Creative
authentic.
and authentic. I'm trying to think.
Authentic.
I'm sure I saw some. I swear
lot
I
to ask
remember
for.
seeing one that like made me laugh.
Yeah, there's always a couple that help.
Power up, like you always see those.
Little-
It's like tap to power up.
You
One of them,
power up.
one said tap if you're horny, and I almost, because I thought it was funny. I was like, I almost just boop. It was
See,
the
those are
opposite
good.
funny. That was funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, now chilling the rest of the week. I need to like ride my bike. Well, not my quad's like ripped in half, so I don't know. But I'm going to Mallorca.
Yeah, I
2
feel
weeks
like you
from
can't do
today, so-
anything too crazy. I feel like you really just need to taper for Mallorca to be able to ride
I'm
there.
kind of scared because the rides, like, it's not more climbing than I've ever done. Like, I always like climbing on my bike, but it's like I haven't been climbing recently a lot because I've been training for the marathon. So I feel like my bike fitness has suffered, and I'm like, I can't go to Mallorca and die or get dropped. But
No, you're gonna be
We'll
good,
see.
and
It'll
you'll
be fine.
hopefully have enough time to recover.
I know I'm like with my quad, how it felt today. I was like, the ship better stop before Mallorca.
I mean, sometimes I'll go an entire week without running, like after a marathon.
Yeah, my coach gave me no runs this week. I think I have like an easy hour tomorrow, and then like or maybe a couple swims, and then Saturday I'll be up in Northern California, but I'm gonna bring my bike because I was like it might be nice, and then probably
Northern California.
yeah, I'm going to my friend Allison's bridal shower in San Francisco.
Oh,
I
I'm
know.
so jealous.
I'm excited. Gonna drive.
Cool.
I thought about
You're
flying.
gonna
but I was
drive.
like, I want to be in control of the situation. You know, people be dying on the planes these days.
I want to be in control.
Just kidding.
of
That's
the
not why I did. I
situation.
just like
She says
procrastinated.
after- It is probably like $1,000 now.
No, that's the thing. I was like, it's like a really short flight. I get that, but like by the time I go to the airport and like all that other shit, it's gonna be
Yeah.
the same amount of time. And just like being in my own car and not like worrying about it, you know. Or what if there's
Are you
like a
driving
flight
alone?
delay? Yeah, I stay with my aunt in San Jose, so it's a little closer. And then I'm gonna go to Pinnacles National Park on the way home. I think. Yeah, Pinnacles.
Okay.
Never been there.
Where is that?
It's like, where is it? It's south of San Jose. It's like on the way home, kind of.
I feel like I should know where this is. It's not like
it's a
the Redwoods.
small park. It's 234 miles. Okay, it's off the 25. It's between the 25 and the 101, east of Soledad.
Like that does anything for me. Oh my God. Okay. So near Salinas area. Oh,
Okay, yeah.
Is it like, sorry, I've definitely been there for a field trip. I'm sure in elementary
Fun.
school because I grew up in Salinas before Chico.
Yeah, it's
So
like
now
kind
I
of in
feel
the
dumb.
middle of the state, like in the Central Valley-ish, but like in a random little green patch of wilderness.
Wow. I don't think I knew that was a national park.
It wasn't until
I'm
2013.
feeling dumb. Oh, okay. That's why I
think
didn't
it
know.
might be
That
one of the
makes me feel
newest
better.
ones.
I am
Yeah.
smart.
So yeah,
I probably did go there on a field trip growing up.
probably did.
But anyway,
Wow.
well, you know what? I'm so proud of you. I wish I
Thank
could
you.
give you a pat on the back. Just kidding. Wish I could give you a hug.
Oh my God, thank you. It was great. Hopefully that was a good recap for
No,
everyone
it was
listening.
like fucking bomb recap.
They're literally like, yeah, Carolyn, you've posted about it. Shut the fuck up.
No, more reels, and we'll look forward to the one going down the stairs.
Oh
of
yeah,
course.
of course. I got a few fire ones in the drafts.
Of course.
Of course.
Love a fire reel.
Same.
If I wanted to drive to the Pinnacles National Park right now, it'd take me
Couple
2 days.
Yeah. Well,
2 days.
You've got.
Which,
I'm not
doesn't seem
going to
that
be there
long.
till Sunday, so
Perfect.
you've got time. I'll meet you there.
I just need a car. Well, all right. Well, TTYL.
Yeah, I will see you next Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.